Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. We can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you gotta get spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. The 9th. Got a little bit of a mixed market these days. Coming over to the charts. Volume profile. So here's the E-mini. Yesterday, well, it started out pretty ugly. In the end, they bought up. And then after that, later in the day, they gave up all those gains. So they ended up like slightly down. I have to say, when it turned over, it did so very quickly and hard. And again, tech's just absolutely routed. So if we come over to like the daily NQ, you can see pretty ugly day for tech yesterday. So still that rotation going on. 10-year treasuries were pushing down yesterday as well. But in the overnight session, they have retreated significantly. And we can see here the dollar finally giving us a potential technical turn. So things may be turning around here. That also means for over here in the commodity space, oil is still kind of figuring out supply issues here, but gold, a really great turn there. Silver looking pretty great after yesterday being, well, really the last 3 days being really ugly over there. Copper's still kind of going sideways though. By the way, I also want to note that in the E-mini, we were kind of down overnight, and then the reason they were able to get boosted and move back up, to my understanding, is that China came out and said that they were buying domestic stocks. Like, that's how bad it was getting over there, the route in tech. So, yeah. Kind of keep that in mind. We got some bill auctions today. Not a whole lot of news. The 10-year auction is tomorrow. 10-year auction is tomorrow, so that's a big day. Seeing the treasuries retreat like they have, I think, I don't know, what happened here? Yeah, that's kind of weird. I just took that as a loss, basically. Or a win, a small one-tick win. You're looking for up moves today? Well, I think that the E-mini could still be a little choppy. But based on the currency moves and everything, I do kind of think that we could get some good action to the upside in treasuries. Coming through here and looking at everything. Oh, it looks like Bitcoin was able to bust out a higher high from yesterday and is at 5,500. It's still kind of struggling though, I must say. So 5,500 was close to that high. So maybe they get a technical breakout here. Light U.S. economic calendar features a 3-year auction. Yeah. The given that nothing else is happening and everything else around the treasuries, I guess that 11 o'clock auction becomes really important. So if you're an equity trader and you're still trading around that time, just remember that 11 years going to be there, and you probably don't want to be holding a position through it, right? Oh, I need to come over here now. Can you see the little light behind me? Wait, let's see. There we go. Ah, yeah, it looks nice. You can read it really well, too. I think we'll put it over here. I think we'll put it on that wall. That looks like the best place to put it. I got quite a bit to do to... What is keratocomas? I don't get it. You know what else is funny? Metals coming back up. Treasuries coming back up. Dollar moving down. Bitcoin up again. When it's favorable to it, they make the move, and when it's not favorable to it, they just hold pat. It's funny. Jake Sherman, yes, it's time to begin thinking about infrastructure. The White House doesn't want to admit publicly or privately it's the next legislative priority, but the Hill is already gearing up for it. We've been chatting with our sources about how they view it, and we've come up with a number of questions about infrastructure that are critical to the overall process and its prospects. This is Jake Sherman. He's okay. Well, he can go into that. Yeah, you know, it's interesting to me that Trump never did because that was something that he talked about wanting to do. And if he had done, it probably would have been a really big deal for him. But, like, they never got around to it. I don't think that the Republicans were all that serious about it. It would be interesting to see where the critical roadblocks come from. Because I think Republicans will probably be all over any kind of pork that they can put into infrastructure. But there's these other things that Democrats want, like an infrastructure bank and stuff like that, that are probably a little, how we say, difficult to get past. Ooh, it could be fun. Politics could be interesting again, maybe? I don't know. I tell you what, having a president that like literally can't speak in public kind of makes politics boring, doesn't it? Make the background say The Empire Strikes Back? Well, right now it's just, this was like the example program that I found out there with the tutorial. That's what it said. Now I need to do a little bit of playing around with it, I guess. Okay, so that was a decent amount of selling there. It's a good amount of volume between 8 and 8.5, in fact. We keep hearing July 4th as a deadline for infrastructure. That seems possible, but tough. It may be helpful to set a deadline at some point, though. This round of COVID relief is getting done speedily because Congress had a deadline. If the tech sell-off continues, will the Fed wait until the entire market goes down before taking any action? Good question. I'm not sure. I'm surprised that the Fed hasn't already done something about the repo market and so forth, because like things are getting kind of we're pretty crazy over. I mean, those was not just like a standard move. They're acting like, oh, you know, the market does this sometimes. No, that was like, no, the market never does that. That was crazy, insane action they had going on there, you know. But okay, so we're gonna tick up there. That's good. But will they be able to tick into 09.5 on the other side? Elon Musk quietly constructing energy project in Texas. You say Kathy Woods is bluffing? So did you guys watch? Oh my gosh. Oh man, wait. First, I have about 5,000. Usually, how many returns in percent a month? So if you get 20% in a year, you're doing well. You can put on a lot of risk and make a lot more than that, and frankly, double your money with that small of a sum. But you're also risking losing it all. So. Usually when you're just starting out, thinking about how much money you make per month and so forth is not really going to be all that helpful to you, because almost all traders lose money in the beginning. What you should be focused on is just finding a reliable, empirically based edge to trade off of. Anyways, so yesterday, Kathy Woods was on CNBC. Did you see that one, Vlad? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And she was like, yeah, we're down. We think this is great. We can buy the dip. What we're getting here in financials is nothing compared to the carnage that's going to come to financials and energies. And I'm like, she's crazy. She is literally crazy, isn't she? Like, think about this. Like, you're a bank. You had low interest rates for the past, like, forever, and interest rates are rising, and the spread in particular is pretty favorable to you, right? Look at Goldman. Is doing amazing lately, and that cycle, if the cycle is turning, the cycle where it is favorable to the banks is just beginning. It's just beginning. And she's like, the carnage is coming to banks for like what reason? I got value traps. Value traps, she says. I really kind of question that she knows what she's doing. I'm starting to wonder. I'm thinking, because she comes in and she talks about their targets, and I'm thinking, she doesn't, she basically has a bunch of quants going through and using some model to predict what these stocks are going to be that is based on past information, and she doesn't realize she doesn't realize the limits of them. And they don't know that, okay, yeah, but that was all based on time periods when interest rates were low. And if we get into this period where interest rates are actively rising, it screws the whole game up. It's just like, I don't know what's going on, but she says a lot of things that just sound insane to me. Did she really buy? Well, I think that in to some extent that she did buy the dip, yeah. But the thing is like she bought the dip on Tesla and then it kept going, right? Like, the problem is she's like, her fund is kind of turning into the bag holder on some of these names, right? And when you're a fund, that's a problem, because there's other things that you need to manage. She's trying to predict 15% growth in 5-year time frames. It's kind of strange now. Yeah. She really does sound like a lunatic. But here's the thing, is if you go on Wall Street Bets or TikTok, they're calling her like mama whatever growth or what, like all of the experienced traders and everybody here on my channel, you guys all calling her crazy. But then all of the new traders absolutely love her. I found out we only need to have about $1.2 million of capital to start a bank in Sweden. Let's start a bank. I mean, do you really want to start a bank? I have to admit that the banking, what do you say? The kind of work that you do in banking isn't the most fun. Yeah. Good morning, Keller. Beyond Meat jumps 5% on expansion of Walmart distribution. Good for them. Oh, you know what? We're going to have to go and check the GameStop while we're talking about this, because GameStop was up 50% yesterday to 150, I think it was. They had news, though. And I continue to see something that looks driven mostly by retail speculation now. What? Business Week tweets, Bitcoin has zero intrinsic value. Some people are okay with that, but not Wilhelm Moutier, former chief economist of Citigroup, who likens it to Schrodinger's. Yeah, okay, it's Schrodinger's Bitcoin. You made a 52% profit on GameStop yesterday. Only 2 stocks sell. Well, where are you going to get out? That's the question. You haven't made anything unless you sold it. What would be some of the best stocks to day trade for beginners? Well, so first of all, nothing is good to day trade for beginners. You're almost always going to lose money no matter what. Okay, if you sold, then good job, Robert. Remember, you haven't made money until you sold. People say you haven't lost money until you sold. Well, okay, whatever. But getting out is the hard part. Trust me. Anyways, I think that futures are a better way to day trade. But discovering edge is very difficult, and that's what you should be concerned about, right? Is finding an edge in something. Everybody thinks you're just going to come in and you're just going to notice patterns in a stock, and no. You've got to ask yourself seriously, what kind of a person are you, and what sort of things are you going to be able to do that other people can't? Okay? Let me give you an example. Say you worked for a mining company and you know a lot about the way that the operations for a mining company go and how that tends to affect the bottom line for mining companies. Well, then trading mining companies, or maybe base metals like gold and silver futures, might be a source of edge for you because you have a background in the industry that most people don't have. See, that could be a potential source of edge. What exactly is the definition of a future? Everywhere I look, I seem to just get told that commodities. Well, so what the real mechanism for a future is it's an agreement to deliver something on a specific date. Okay. Now that date kind of gets a little bit fuzzy because it's different for every future, and the way that they do the settlement is different for every future. And some futures are cash settled, like an equity index is a cash settled future, but it still has like a month, right? Like we're trading the March future, and those will roll over on the third week of the month, and then we'll move over to, what is it? July, right? So that's kind of what makes it a future. But that doesn't really get into the important qualities of a future, right? So let me tell you what the important features of a future are as in terms of like how it affects your trading, okay? It's a derivative contract. Okay, so when you take it, you're making a contract to deliver something at a certain date, and that's what gives the contract a value. Okay, and you're making an agreement with somebody else, so there's an equal number of buyers and sellers. It's a zero-sum game, right? More so than stocks, because stocks, like the underlying thing, can still make money. But here in futures, when you're making money, it's coming out from somewhere else, right? Now that means that you can just go short, right? In a stock, you have to go out and borrow shares and do all of this stuff, right? There's only so many shares of it available, so on and so forth. With a future, it's just a contract. There's all you need for it to work is somebody else willing to make the agreement with you. So you can go short anytime that you want, right? And they use high amounts of leverage. Like when I'm trading the 10-year treasury, you're basically like the underlying thing that you're trading is basically worth $1 million, right? But because the way that it works is it's an agreement with somebody else, you're only paying in the end the difference between the price that you buy at and the price that you sell at. So you can make money off of very small movements. And you can, there's a high amount of liquidity in them. So you have the ability to basically get in and out wherever you want, especially if you're a small trader, right? And so these are some of the things that make it more advantageous for us to trade as a retail trader, because I can come in here on the micros, right? Come in and take 2 points, make $5, be done if that's what I'm going for, right? And then if I'm wrong, I stop out and I lose $5, and that's the end of it. And you have really good software and everything else like that. There's lots of other, tax considerations and stuff like that. But for the trading, this is why I think that they make a really great vehicle for trading. How does the underlying turn into the future? Well, so if you hold it till expiration or first call or whatever the situation is, then what will happen is you can get called up to deliver or receive. So if you were to hold gold, for instance, then into the expiration, and you bought it, then essentially you would be expected to buy a physical amount of silver, right? And then, it usually gets delivered to a warehouse where they hold it, and you pay a holding fee for the warehouse and all that stuff. There's another question in here. You're still down 1,400 on your old YOLO. Oh, yeah. Anyways, I had a thought earlier and I wasn't sure. Anyways, study the markets, find things that work. I have to say, a lot of people think that you can just kind of inspect the markets and find it. And you can, but the chances are that the majority of things that you're going to see are really just random or temporary, right? And to really find things that are reliable, you're going to need more than just data inspection to find them. Do you know why CQG has an issue reporting the correct price when you hold overnight / over the weekend? I don't know. That's interesting that it's doing that to you. That would be something to ask your broker. That's concerning. Average price ends up being higher than it should be. They're not showing first in, first out. You thought I was joking? Yeah, that's funny, dude. That's what the default thing put the name of the creator in there. It said Josh. So all I did was change it to Seth and was like, okay, so like, can I change it? And it works. Okay, yes, good enough. Doesn't your average price get settled at close price? Well, so are you suggesting that it's not factoring in your profits taken? Or because you're, or, oh. The thing is that the average price that you get, I don't think is calculated by CQG. I think that that's calculated by your software. I think that all that they do is report that you're long. Well, actually, maybe not. Maybe they do say you're long average this price or something. I don't know. I don't know how it calculates it, to be honest. I guess I need to go and look at the feed. Have to go and look in NinjaTrader API and at least see how it does it. Yeah, well, there's one way CQG desktop changes it as well. I see. Huh. I don't know. But is that like an unfair average price? I don't know. It's never something I've dealt with. I just don't know much about TET or T4. Well, I'm not really familiar with T4, but TT is like probably the most mature platform. I certainly wouldn't be concerned about if, moving over to TT. If there's you pay a little bit more for it per month, but it's a good platform. Is it possible Ricky Gutierrez made about 30% in a month? He's a YouTuber. Well, so first of all, you can go and there's quite a number of videos out there that talk about Ricky. I won't go into it. Or maybe I wonder if tradingschools.org has one about him, but you can go in and they can talk about him. But I think you're approaching it all wrong, man. Let me tell you what, how much somebody else has potentially made in the past on trading is completely irrelevant to anything that you are going to do. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay. Maybe they did. That doesn't mean that you're going to duplicate their results, right? And you're probably sitting here thinking about it like, well, if I'm able to make 30% per month and I start with $5,000, then I'm able to make this much per month and then I can live off of it. I'm sorry, man, but it's just not realistic. And it's going to lead you down a path that is going to waste your time, right? Here's the thought process that I believe is the most beneficial to you. I want to day trade because I enjoy it and I think that I could be good at it because I have certain skills, knowledge, abilities that would be beneficial to day trading that other people don't have. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to start trading and learn as much as I can about the specific market that I'm trading with the goal of developing a sustainable edge that I can use. And when I say edge, I mean an advantage over other market players that you can use to try and reliably make money. And you should risk as little capital as possible while you're in that development process, because 95% of people are never able to develop that edge. That's the way you should be thinking about it, okay? So I have all these videos that talk about why 95% of traders fail and that sort of a thing, right? You're going to see all these people trying to sell things to you. But you've got to realize that trading is competitive, right? If it's some piece of information or strategy that's for sale out there, then it's already known. They're already going to, there's going to be other people trading it, and they're already going to have made all the money out of it that you can. You're going to have to develop your own edge, right? I know that that's probably not what you want to hear, but it's the truth. Same issues, and everyone says that issue is at CQG when it comes to holding overnights weekends. That's kind of weird. Why is it that when I look at some ticker for stonk that's selling at like $5 a share, it will occasionally show up as having some kind of weird spread from spot 01? Well, so people, put their bids and offers out there, and sometimes people pull them, and sometimes the liquidity isn't all that high. Especially when people tell you buy the dip on something crashing, they won't blow up, but you will one day. Yeah. Well, the way that the market has been. Here's the thing that drives me crazy with buy the dip. Okay, if you're buying the dip, and the dip that you're buying is the S&P 500 index, then yeah, probably it will continue to work for quite some time. Okay, but nobody actually does that, right? Like, if you're gonna buy index, index funds, okay, you're gonna do that like in your 401k or IRA, where you don't really have a whole lot of ability to move things around, right? No, you're talking about buying the dip on individual stocks. And here's the thing. When there's a dip, some stocks never recover. ARK, I could be dead wrong, but I think that they are very overvalued. They seem to be making a lot of mistakes in how they're managing things. And there's a possibility that they never reach another new all-time high. It can happen. And if you bought that all-time high, you're in trouble, right? If you bought that dip and it just keeps going down, you're in trouble. So, hey, you know what? You need to understand what the market is doing and what's going on and why it's moving. And if their environment changes, you change. Cathie Wood seems like the quintessential example of an outperforming fund manager underperforming once they get popular, for sure. I certainly, in the 12 or so years that I've been watching the markets, have never seen a fund manager get so much attention in 1 year. But here again, Cathie Woods appears to have attracted the viral forces, you know what I mean? Is rhythmic crap though? I don't like, they're not. So here's the thing. Both of the data feeds have their positives and minuses. People want to come in and they'll want to tell you, well, because I'm on CQG or because I'm on Rhythmic, this one is better than the other one, or it's not. I'll tell you one thing, Rhythmic is a lot more expensive right now. You're paying like $65 a month for Rhythmic now. Anyways, I remember Buffett saying something like that. It's easy to invest 1 million, but it gets tougher above a couple $100 million. Well, yeah. Like, that's the thing that bothers me the most about ARK is that they own 10% or more of multiple companies. So that's not good. Rhythmic is an execution data. Well, listen, so I've seen videos from people purporting to show the difference between CQG and Rhythmic. And when I look at it, I don't see a difference. There probably is a difference, but it's going to be, on the order of milliseconds. And there's going to be jitter in that latency. And where you live and your connection is going to matter a lot, and is probably going to be a bigger difference than the difference between the two data feeds. You know what I mean? But then they provide different features. Rhythmic provides more levels of depth. CQG provides indexes, like the tick index, if you pay for it, right? There's so many differences on them that even though it seems like a direct comparison is warranted, because you get on an amp and you get that choice between those two, so it's like, which one is better? Well, it depends on what you're doing. For me, I have indicators and stuff that are looking at more than 10 levels of depth. So, CQG is not appropriate for me. Yep, no market internals for Rhythmic to my knowledge. Maybe you can get them, I don't know what you got to do it. It's not advertised anywhere, that's for sure. Well, I thought maybe 09.5, but no. The issue is I've never had that problem with the overnight holding because I have Rhythmic, and Ninja Trader will show it to me different anyways. Or sorry, Jigsaw will show it to me different anyways, so I haven't dealt with that issue. What does your polling indicator do? Which one? I have a number of ways in which I can detect that orders are pulling. So did you see there in the 10-year? I didn't really necessarily see it in any indicators, but you can see it on the DOM. They didn't trade into my 09. There was a few contracts at 09.5, but then right back up to the high just like that on almost nothing. So it appears market makers reluctant to take on short inventory. CQG2 has more levels. Well, the data that you're offered at AMP, they have increased it on ES. And here again, and this is the thing that really drives me crazy about it, is that like if you're concerned about like the latency on your data and the execution on your data, you should probably be using TT, right? Don't be getting all high and mighty about which data feed you use when you're just a lowly retail trader like anybody else, where the execution of your orders is the least of your troubles. Because if it was really, you were really that sophisticated for that sort of thing to matter, you would probably be executing with TT. Right? CQG, it did increase it on ES. 20 levels for ES now. It's not about latency, it's about completeness. No, it's not. Listen, you're suggesting that there's one, that there are updates that one gets that the other one doesn't get? Because I've done that one too. And they both filter. like straight up, they both filter. And the difference between which one filters and which one and what the other doesn't is negligible. Quite frankly, the technology to be able to give you like truly unfiltered data just doesn't exist. Show you? Well, so the way that you could look at it is if you go and you download my indicator suite from speculatorsnet.com and you look at the what do I call it? What do I call it? Level 2 changes? Is that what I call it? Yep. Yeah, you call up the level 2 changes. Okay. And you look at the number of level 2 changes on Rhythmic versus the number of level 2 changes on CQG. You'll probably see a difference of like a few dozen. But like understand that you're talking about like there's like a change of like one lot maybe here and there that maybe it gets aggregated on this one and not on this one and vice versa. And like that amount that it changes is going to be different every day. Listen. Listen, Salim, you're a beginning retail trader with no fucking clue what he's doing, making a big deal out of something that is not important to your trading. The reason that your trading fails is because you don't have an edge right now, and your data feed is the least of your troubles. If you use Rhythmic or you use CQG, both of those would probably be just fine. I use Rhythmic because I want the extra levels. Does that make a huge difference? No, but it's along the lines of the things that I'm working on right now, so I use it. And it allows me to pump the data through multiple programs, so Rhythmic works really well for me. If you wanted to use CQG, that would probably be just fine too. If it really mattered, you can go and you can use TT. Then if you're using TT, then you can go and you can talk about how the execution matters and everything, and it's making a difference in your trading. But you're not. You're a clueless idiot that frankly is too stupid to be trading, and certainly too stupid to trade futures. I'm surprised that a broker will even give you an account, and you need to stop coming around. Goodbye. Good grief. It just irks me so much, though, that you get these people that they focus on things that are so unimportant. And Meanwhile, the retail traders are chasing all of these phantoms instead of the thing that matters. Listen, you know what matters? You know what matters is that there's a 10-year treasury auction tomorrow. That freaking matters, right? That the repo market is going absolutely crazy and that there's a ridiculous number of shorts out there. That matters, right? That China was buying domestic equities last night matters, right? How can you develop an edge on these things so that when these things that matter are happening, you can be making money off of it? Those are the things that you should be focused on, not what platform you use. Any run-of-the-mill computer will be sufficient for a beginning trader. Any data feed will be just fine for your regular trader. Where do you look at the seasonalities? So I'm factoring in, so the way that I kind of approach seasonalities and that sort of a thing is at the beginning of the day, I always say to myself, and I don't say it over the stream anymore, but I used to go through that until I kind of realized how valuable it was, I guess. I sit down and I think of things like, okay, today is Tuesday, there's no news. So that factors into my market making strategy, right? There's an auction tomorrow that factors in. What's the seasonality of it? We're still in the first quarter of the year. That's supportive of more action in treasuries, right? And there's probably a couple of places you could go online that might suggest some seasonality to you as well. But then every time that I'm going to take an order, I could do kind of ask myself, okay, is this in line with the seasonality? Or like if we start seeing a certain kind of activity that I think is unusual, I ask myself, is this in line with the seasonality? And you factor it in that way. And where do you find them? Well, the way that I found them was through empirical study. I designed certain strategies to try and take advantage of certain kind of action. For instance, I'd make a strategy that would do really well in trending action and really poorly in range bound action, and then back test it over several years, and you can see like regular seasonality to it. Or like I'd do things like test a certain indicator over, like you ever done these things like the S&P 500 has an 80% chance of breaking the overnight high or overnight low, right? Well, you run those same kinds of tests over things, and you could do it like, what is the maximum ADX for the day? Like, what was the maximum amount of trendiness, right? And you can make a distribution histogram, and you can go through on different quarters and say, okay, or different months, how does the distribution histogram differ based on what month it is? And you can find things like that. You short at 58-ish? That's interesting. I kind of feel like, I should be following Ace, but then I'm thinking, I haven't really been thinking about the E-mini at all. I've been focused on this treasury trade, I guess. When we open, maybe I might take something. So they come back down here again. Well, they sure are able to trade across this range rather easily, right? That one, okay. What are you apologizing for, Uzi? No. Make sure that when you that you report them as well. Okay. Well, so that 09.5 is holding quite a bit more liquidity this time. I don't know. I feel because of the dollar, I think I'm biased long, but man, gold is taking off. Look at that. $17.17. Yeah, it is now well above the 7th. Well, you're getting on a longer term basis a pretty strong technical breakout. We'll see if gold is able to continue the run throughout the day, but it kind of looks like a lot of the dollar weakness trades are all pulling out, probably even including Bitcoin, right? Yeah, it's not really moving at the moment, but it did overnight. How can you see more data than actually exists? How can you see data between contracts, QE? Well, so I think you're probably asking about contract merging. So, like, you have two contracts running at the same time, right? So right now we've got March, but July is trading. We could go and we could look at July, right? And July's price is going to be different from March's price. So when we roll over, not so much on the E-mini, it's usually like a teeny bit, but like in the treasury for certain, you can have a gap between the two contracts that's quite large, right? So especially if you're like doing back testing on a strategy that is open, that keeps positions open intraday, and would try and hold through the switchover, and if you were managing it, you would roll over the future during that time. Is it June? Sorry. Then how do you deal with that, right? And so you can go into your software and you can tell it how to deal with that. So you can tell it to merge them. You can tell them to merge them back adjusted, or you can tell them to just not merge them at all. So if you're doing like intraday stuff, I prefer to just not merge it at all. Do you have empirical evidence about previous auctions and how they move indexes? Are you talking about the 10-year treasury auction? Yeah, well, so normally it doesn't. Normally it doesn't matter too much to stocks, but you want empirical evidence, go and look at the last 10-year treasury auction. Holy crap, that day was crazy, right? That was the first day that it really got crazy. Oh, Kyle, I did see that comment. I'm trying, I'm not calling attention to it anymore. I mean, man, it's funny because like I don't want to call attention to it, but then I'm always noticing things about the way that he functions that I think is really funny, you know? Like one of the things is that his methods of attack are just so unsophisticated. It's like, okay, let's make fun of his appearance. Like I give a fuck what anybody thinks about how I look. Like, I'm married, I have kids, I'm pretty darn happy with my life. I work out, I try to be as healthy as I can. This whole idea that some rando can come into my stream when that can happen, like that happens all the freaking time anyways, and they're going to neg you about their looks, and that's going to like actually affect you or like, you know, really get to you is just absolutely hilarious. It's like if this person had any iota of intelligence at all, he would realize that I'm the kind of person that is not susceptible to that kind of thing in the least bit, right? And would realize that he's just not, you know, he's just wasting his time. You can't let an obvious third worlder on shitty Wi-Fi in some desert cafe mess with your. Yeah, well, it doesn't. But like I'm always just kind of looking at it to be like, okay, so what are certain things about the way that he behaves that you can see that makes it pretty easy to identify who is. Like that's the, you know, there's another person that will come in and then kind of do some things that it's the same sort of thing, and it's so easy to tell when it's them. So easy. No. In the data feed, you said you could see the complete data somewhere. That's I think you misunderstood what I said. The one thing that I did say was that if you're concerned about latency or the completeness of data, which is to say, like, sometimes they will filter data, right? You will get 5 changes, like say 5 people individually removed orders off, and it's like a really active market right now. Sometimes those data feeds will combine those 5 updates into one update to reduce the number of updates that they have to send out to their clients. Okay. So if you're concerned about the quality of your data feed, you should probably be trading TT. If you have evidence to suggest that really matters to your strategy, you should be trading TT. And you should be trading it automated. Can you share your Auction Vista color settings? Oh, you actually like the green, Big Toasty? Well, I mean, let's see here. That's funny. Because I thought that everybody hated it except for me. Nah, TT data is not terrible. It is considered the industry standard. Oh, there you. Oh, you use TT data? I forgot about that. Yeah, that's right. So in Auction Vista, I'm using Dodger blue for a bullish bar, in orange for a bearish bar, and gray for a neutral bar, which almost never shows up in the E-mini. And then over here, I guess you could take a screenshot of the exact colors, but I just said this bright green, which is 179.255.0, is the brightest, and black is the least bright, and then I just kind of made ones in between. Oh, yeah, there you can take a screenshot. And I chose that green because your eye can tell the difference between different shades of green more easily. Okay, so they are back to the low in the treasury. Oh, yeah, that's right. Jigsaw did share a link where you can make those fade colors automatically. And I think I might have done that. I think that I started with that automatic fade, but I actually made some brighter and some darker. So there's a certain level at which they kind of dramatically change. You know, I haven't actively used TT enough, Rick, to be able to answer that question. But you can go and you can ask Mr. Patrick Rooney, who is on Twitter, or sometimes he's on Discord. I don't think he's been on Discord recently, but he's very available on Facebook. He's easy to get a hold of, and you can ask him those questions and he'll answer them. Yeah. Georgia Senate passes election reform bill that would end no excuse absentee voting. I could see Seth playing Buzz Aldrin. It's kind of funny to me that people will point out like famous actors and stuff that you kind of look like. So it's not something that you normally think about a lot, like that you look like somebody, but I guess that's something that happens when you start to have somewhat of a public profile. In order to use TT, do you have to use their platform though? Last I checked, it's hella money. Well, kind of, yeah. So like the thing is, if I wouldn't mind using TT. So like if TT came in and they said, hey Seth, we want you to use TT because we think it's a great platform and we want to promote it on your stream and we'll let you have it without paying any monthly fees, I would be like, hell yes, and I would jump at that. And I would rebuild all my stuff in TT, and you can run the TT data. My understanding is that you can run the TT data on Jigsaw, and that people do that because the TT data is better for some people that they care about that. But does it have a free demo? It does. It's like delayed data, but there is a free demo, yes. I hate the George. You're saying that you look like George Clooney? What? Okay, so tick up there at 09 and some absorption on the bid side, but there's been absorption on the offer side at 09 as well. So it looks like there's still this battle going on where like there's some shorts that are maybe trying to cover, but that there's still some downward pressure on it. I wouldn't worry about the thumbs up, thumbs down. There's the one person that utilizes multiple connections to try and downvote you, and he doesn't realize that it helps the stream. So when you see that number of thumbs down, I'd just be like, good, that means that this will be shown to more people again. And make sure that you hit the like button. We're 19. We're doing okay today. 19 likes. And if you don't like this content, then go ahead, click the dislike button, and then get out of here. Man, Uzi is like on it. Holy cow, man. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so here comes the E-mini. Initial move clearly long. And I have to chase it. Come on. They need a way to differentiate between liking or disliking a video from a good source that is about bad people doing bad things. Well, there's like oh man, hold on. I don't know if I want to add risk here, so what I'll do is I'll let it stop out and then buy back in if it really is bad. Sure. Okay. Hold on a second. I already made my money today, so I got the attention. Oh, okay. No. I think that the like button is supposed to be about whether you yourself like the content or not, and the algorithm uses it to determine what to show you in the future. And if it's something that you want to see in the future, then you should hit the like button. Okay, so that there was that down turn. It was pretty heavy in volume, but we got right back up to the high and reached the high very quickly. Oh, did we gap? Wow. Gabby got that one so quickly. Okay. So a little bit below the open in some fight here. It's still pretty ugly volume. So I'm going to take off. Do you think that they just want to sell it? But look at the volume, man. That's hard to deny. Let's come in here and look at some of the stocks. You can kind of see this thing going on here in Tesla. Oh, we should change that to 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Okay. Well, even though there is that dramatic selling, the buyers have no problem getting it back up there. It's definitely that 64 area though. Today might surprise people because yesterday in test 3800. The thing is there's some large rebalancing going on, right? You notice I haven't been paying as much attention to specific levels over the past few days, just because I know that that's going on as they're gonna go through. Okay. Oh, come on. Okay. Okay. Don't like that. I mean, the volume difference is certainly significant. 3,000 contracts down, but fairly tight and choppy open, isn't it? Hmm. So now some big orders are messing around here, so I'm going to get out again. Oh, sure. When you have time, could you please explain about Treasury auction, what it is, and how it can impact markets? So the Treasury auction is when the U.S. Treasury puts new treasuries out into the market, right? So they say, we're going to put X number of 30-year treasuries out and X number of 3-year treasuries out. And then there's all the primary dealers and stuff go out and bid for them. So they have an auction. And you can go to treasurydirect.gov for more information about this, including the schedule and how it works. But basically, people put in all of their bids. And then at 11 o'clock today, we'll see the results of that auction. And when you see the results, it usually will come out. The two most important numbers that you'll get out of that are the interest rate that was given or that things went at, and bid to cover, which is how many people were actually like buying to buy them versus covering shorts and stuff, right? And it's an offer then, yeah. So the Treasury auction is just like the oil supply reports, right? It's basically new supply of treasuries coming into the market. So we already know that there's a lot of supply coming into the market because they've already told us how many notes they're going to offer, I believe. But we don't know how the market's going to react to that. Can they absorb that supply and so forth? And that's what we find out in the auction. So last time that we had an auction in the 7-year, there was not enough people to buy it. And so because of that, prices went down and yields moved up. And then that had the dramatic effect on the markets because of the rates raising, right? So the 10-year is kind of the part of the curve that people are kind of paying attention to. Damn. All right. Yeah, I knew there was going to be a big pullback, but chasing. Man, baby. Doesn't bond offerings drive yields higher? Well, it doesn't necessarily. Sometimes it comes out and there's a lot of people looking to buy treasuries because they're afraid of the future, and the yield kind of moves down that day. Generally speaking, though, the impact on price tends to be that they tend to fall going into the auction and then rise after the auction. And if it doesn't, then you kind of tend to get those crazy moves like you did last auction. Well, I'm not too happy with this one because I didn't really get the prices that I was looking for, you know?
Bye.
Kind of FOMO'd into it. And, well, look at the Treasury go. Damn. You see, when I'm trying to chase it, I don't tend to get the price that I want. I haven't been very good at that lately. I thought the correlation was bonds down, yields up. If yes, that's true. Fed wants to keep rates down. Why would they offer bonds? They have no choice. They have to fund the government, right? This is how they keep the government funded, as they offer out this debt. That's why it's kind of a problem. They're offering so many bonds because they're taking on so much debt that the market can't absorb it. You see? Smell what I'm stepping in? Well, the delta is still a little bit short, but they're breaking highs again. Oh, that wasn't quite a break of the high, but they're right there. This right here could probably move and... Oh, wow. Is Tesla up? I'm just hearing on the news squawk. Tesla is up 6%. Yeah. Oop, I was a little early. That's okay. Okay, well, I finally caught a good one there. If I just come back here and do this, and what do we get? Okay. Interesting, those big orders down at 66. Oh, there you go. He says, oh, I see. Yes, yes. Now you understand. Huh. Okay, so a little bit of absorption up in there. They seem to be pushing through it okay, though. There's still some delta to come out if they're okay. Surprised that that one didn't cause a gap. Do you see that sell, man? Somebody sold that. Well, he's gonna get thrown away right away. Oh, somebody's selling it here. Doesn't mean they're going to win, but look, it's definitely there, right? You can definitely see it happening. But look, there's a lot of buyers willing to fill them. Is ZB a good market to trade for a beginner? Well, no market is a good trade to market to trade for a beginner, but I think that there's a lot of advantages to trading the treasury markets, especially when you're starting out. They're not forgiving at all. I just warn you right now. But that's kind of a good thing for a beginner, right? Doesn't teach you bad things. When you trade oil and the E-mini, sometimes you can get away with stupid crap. But in the treasuries, they're going to let you know right away if you're wrong. I disagree on principle with everything Seth just said. So he's joking around with you. So let me tell you something that's probably more important to what you're going to trade is how much capital do you have and how much risk you're willing to take on, right? Because in the 30-year treasury, you're making or losing like $30 a tick. Like, that's a lot. And you can make or lose a lot of money very quickly in the 30-year, right? For most people, something more appropriate to their risk is going to be the micro futures, and that's why I'm trading micro futures right now, because it's only 125 per tick, and you can make or lose $5 for somebody that's just starting out. That's a much better setup. That's going to make your money last longer, and that's going to be your primary concern when you're starting out anyways. So, but you do learn a lot from trading the treasuries. Lots of things that Ace doesn't know because he's never traded them. Like, for instance, when we were talking about how the auctions work. Because that's something that most people ignore and only the treasury traders pay attention to. But here now, in the past little while, it's ended up being an important thing. Yeah, there you go. See, Ace was messing with you. I would absolutely listen to him if he says something. He's a reputable member of the community, a long-time reputable member of the community. As he says, the easy way to look at it, if you want to be right or wrong really fast, use the indexes. If you like slow bane and delayed gratification bonds, yeah. It really is. I get to tell you, bonds are extremely efficient. Like, it's really hard to get something in the bonds where it's just like, you know, it's obvious which way it's going to go and you get on, like, because when that happens, it moves fast. I don't know. It's really hard to be successful in the bonds. Or let me put this a different way. Let me put this in more of an empirical manner. Almost any kind of strategy that, like, technical analysis strategy that you go out there and you apply it to the S&P 500, you may be able to make money, especially if your strategy favors longs and favors like holding it. The 10-year treasury, you turn around and you run those strategies on the 10-year treasury and they won't work. Bonds can kick like a horse, happens infrequently and hurts like hell. Yeah. So the bonds in particular, you've really got to pay attention to the order flow, and you've really got to pay attention to the news, because all of those other kind of technical and statistical abnormalities that people are trying to take advantage of in indexes don't really exist in treasuries. They're all arbitraged out. But then again, if it doesn't work in the treasury, that kind of is also a reason to be like, well, maybe it's not really a reliable strategy, and I shouldn't be trying it in other instruments either. Okay. I tell you what, I'm worried for what Asher's going to be like when he's 2 years old, because he can throw a fit already, and over the most trivial things. Up and up. Okay. Well, so it's still kind of some of the same, where there does appear to be some absorption up here still, but the buyers keep pushing through them. They haven't gone for the high yet, but it looks like they're going to. I wonder if there's some sort of probability about, if you get X close to the high of the day, what is the chance that it goes again? What is DOM? What? Okay. DOM is depth of market. So each one of these little windows here that you see is a depth of market. There's no secret. There you go. Do you guys know someone who trades futures for a living successfully and is offering mentor sessions? Certainly not anybody that I would recommend giving money to. And I don't think that mentor sessions are really worth all that much, to be honest with you. So the issue here, again, is that trading is a competitive thing. If there's somebody out there that has been successful, he's not going to share his strategy with people. I think that by that point, you've kind of had enough strategies like fail on you before that you just don't take any chances and you don't give it to anybody. So right away, just the fact that they're giving mentoring sessions, especially if they're saying that they'll give you their edge, that's no. I would stay far away. But then the larger thing here is how do you develop edge? That's now, could a mentor help you develop edge? Sure. But the problem is just that the person that can help you do that is not going to offer that service. You know what I mean? So yeah, you have to do the work to do the investigation. Like here's the thing, is that if you don't have the skills to do the work and find the edges on your own, then you're unlikely to be successful at the trading thing overall anyways, right? Like the discovering the edges is a critical part of what you're doing, right? I think that some people want to, well, we talked about this yesterday and I talked about it on TikTok. A lot of people want somebody to come in and just tell them exactly what to do, and then they'll just come in and grind it out every day. Well, if that's what you want to do, you should be working for a bank, right? But if you're going to be a retail trader, the primary thing that you're doing is studying the market and trying to find inefficiencies. And that process of studying it, understanding how it works, and finding inefficiencies, that's the skill that you're trying to develop. That's the primary skill that you need to try and develop. Do you have an edge, Seth? Well, it's a good question right now, because I certainly seem to have periods that I do well, and like I'm looking at it right now and I feel like I do at the moment. But then sometimes I will have like really bad drawdowns, right? So I think that I have some edge, but it's not where I'd like it to be though, right? But have I gotten good at finding those? I think that I have. I think that we found a couple of good edges in the past, and unfortunately edges come and go. Those kinds of edges come and go. But I would say I didn't make this channel to be like, oh, I know everything about trading and you guys should all follow me. That's not why I made it. So kind of started out as a journal and has turned into a community effort. So yeah, you have to learn all the lessons on your own. And I'm not saying that you can't like work with other people, right? Like I think it's really important that you be talking to other traders and developing things with other traders. I want out up here. We're getting to my profit target. Not that I don't think that the E-mini could go further. It's just that's what my like daily target is. You can read books and people can provide you information and everything, but the thing that I think is more valuable is like working with people and discovering it, right? Like coming in here and being like, well, here's an idea that I had, the thing that I've noticed, and then we go through and we work on it. Or you message me. That's like people every day messaging me things that we test and we work through, right? And that can be so helpful and instrumental to you. You learn, the pitfalls and how you kind of have to go about developing these sorts of things, right? We're all range traders technically. Well, all of us retail guys, I guess technically we are, huh? Man, I'm mad that I didn't click out there fast enough. Like when I started seeing 600 at 38.77 and I saw where it was at, I should have gotten out. Still some buying. Okay, good. Whew. Whew. All depends on time frame. Well, to me, what's happening where price has been is less important than what's happening where it hasn't been within a relative time frame reference. That is sure. Okay, I've been looking into market profiling recently and seem to have some success with that. Any of you use market profile? So one of the edges that I'm kind of relying upon, primarily in the E-mini, to trade off of, you can kind of see in market profile, yes. So the way that distributions happen in the market profile, there is really actually something to that. And there are models that kind of explain why that shape occurs. Now, there's a lot of other things that we say about how it extends and so forth that, maybe there was an edge in it at one point, but it seems to be unreliable, especially for the kinds of targets that we look for. But the way that the distribution shape forms, there's real market properties based on how limit orders books work that cause those. So it's definitely a good spot to look for to try and mine edge. Now I would add to that I would really recommend watching the order book and having a good DOM and being able to see the individual orders pop through. Are you talking about unfinished auctions? Yeah, like if I show up with some idea and smacks it down real quick, I'll check myself because for all I know, I could have it wrong and there is value in farming your knowledge, but groupthink is bad. Yeah. So people that are really susceptible to groupthink and trends, I have not found those people to make good traders. Right? Which is why I'm so concerned with so many jumping on the social media bandwagon. What is the most popular thing on social media and me buying that? Because I've always found that to be a disastrous setup, Ooh, hold up, are we okay here? Yeah, okay, we're good. Oh, you're long? Okay. Wait, what price did you get long at? When did I get long at? I got long at 38.70. Oh, no. 61. Yeah, no, okay, it was good. It was good. I took that one, that was good, and I was able to hold it for a long time. I'm actually a little bit surprised at the way that it extended here above. I could have gotten quite a bit more, huh? Because I got out at 74. So that's like 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, anyways, it was a little bit more, but Kind of scared me when it jumped too much. Yeah. Then combining market profile, DOM, and footprint charts for the different time frames in this combo seems to work okay. No, there is what are you saying here? Oh yeah. Well, a lot of what goes on in Discord can be just noise. You know, here's how I would use Discord is like just put down how you're feeling about the market moves and see how other people feel about the market moves. No demo TT data? No, yes you can. It's delayed data though. I mean, I know this because I've used it. In fact, I think I still have it installed. I think that they'll still give me the delayed data. Holy crap, outdone for the day? That really jumped, didn't it? Well, here's the thing, especially with the way that the dollar is moving. Look at gold, guys. Look at gold. 1716. I guess they're still kind of where they were. Do you use cumulative delta? I definitely do. That's what this line right here is. Just be careful. Some people, here's the thing is like you get all of these things like footprints and cumulative delta and volume profile, and these are all technical indicators, right? And so the temptation is always going to be to see some sort of a pattern or behavior that's not really actually there. So the way that I've begun to temper my expectations on such things is, can I explain why it does that? So if I have a good theory or a mathematical explanation for why that thing happens, then you know that you can get, that you might have something. Show me your team. Well, okay, fine. I believe I have it installed here. Oh, maybe I don't have it on this machine. Maybe that was before, that must have been before the reinstall. Oh, no, wait, you know it is. There it is. It's just called DT. I was searching for trading. Now they probably have changed it a little bit since I last did it. So yeah, well, it's already different because they want me to sign in here. I'll reset the password here. "10 minutes of market depth delay data wouldn't be a problem for me since I plan my entry hours ahead." Well, the problem I see with that one is that by the time you make your trade, that what you're seeing probably doesn't matter anymore. They gonna come back here? I need to keep an eye on this treasury thing, huh? So we were up there at the highs. I should have. Well, I don't know. Do I want to take it again? I'm not really. It seems like we should be able to buy it here and it'll go back up, but I'm not sure I want to risk taking another contract or not. So it has changed a little bit, but look, I sign into it and it says start 30-day trial. Oh, sorry, your trial period has expired. Yeah, I already did it. So it used to be that it would keep running, and but you could change some settings and use delayed data, but I guess not. But there is a demo for it, dude. Well, this is odd. ARK had inflows the past 2 days as it cratered. That says Zero Hedge. Yeah, I not surprised. This one I probably should have had that sitting out there, even though I don't. Well, maybe it would have gotten filled. I don't know. The ZN testing the Owen for the third. Yeah, well, it's. I mean, they've been around this 08 half spot quite a few times, right? Right, we went from here. 1, 2. I guess this is only the third time it's been back here. One thing I note is that the inflows that I'm seeing here into ARK and Tesla in particular look a little unsustainable, right? Like if ARK turns around and has like a 15% day, I'm gonna be sitting here wondering a little bit. Well, I tell you what, if you could be as dedicated to developing Edge as Salim is to harassing this YouTube channel, you might have a chance of being a successful trader, yeah. Yes. Some places like AMP will give you 30 days of free data and then you call back and beg for more and then move on to another. Yeah. Well, I when I started, that's what I did. I would create fake email addresses and I would keep using different ones until they banned my IP. Then I had to get a real account. And then when I got the real account, I had to call them to unban me. And that's when I started doing combines. Short here for fun? I don't know. Like that Tesla's not backing off yet. They're still at the high of the day. $10 up in Tesla's a little crazy, right? The question is what's causing it? Because if it's just somebody buying the dip, you know, and really trying to push it, like those can come back hard, right? Oh, you know what? What's MSTR done? MSTR is up 12%. What? All because the dollar's down? Well, you know what? Some of the selling the other day in tech, like, let's see here. My Sumo Logic took a pretty hard hit there that I didn't think was fair the other day. So MSTR is up because Bitcoin is maybe. The thing with MSTR is, yeah, are they up today? Sure. But are they as high as they were last time that Bitcoin was at 55? No, not even close. There's some bearishness is set into MSTR that will be difficult for them to overcome. It'll be a crazy short squeeze if they're able to do it, but it's the S&P 500, not the S&P in Tesla. I mean, it's the S&P is basically like Tesla, Apple, and Google. Like those three is the bulk of the index, right? So just I come in here and I see Tesla up 10%. That makes it really hard for me to short the S&P 500, right? I disagree, just to be contrary. Just like me. This is why we get along, Ace. We're so similar on that respect. Problem with indexes, they have too much volatility in RTH. I might be up from a swing trade I started yesterday, and the cash session gives back 80% of my gains before going up again, if it does. Yeah, but you know what, Kyle? I have that happen to me in every instrument, so I think that's just the nature of markets, right? Now you're revenge trading. So the question becomes, how far can the E-mini go? Well, I tell you what, the real winner here today is still gold. Oh, you know what? We could go to 39.03. There's still that 39.03 resistance. Okay. What about fixed targets? Doesn't happen to you in currencies? That's interesting. Okay, so target 1 is at 38.90. Target 2 is 39.18. So 39.03. Very doable. But we're already kind of to a point where they may chill out a little bit, so. And the E-mini is getting a little volatile there at the top as well. Just curious. Oh man, but they bought it. Look at that. Oh, I wish I had noticed that earlier. Who's Salim? That's what I'm saying. Like, that is exactly the point, Pure Angel. Okay, so anyways, on a 5-minute chart, do you see my indicator? So normally I would be looking here to be like, okay, like how close are we to stopping out the longs? But look, they bought it up. Like these two lines followed it up. That's a strong move. So yeah, we'd still, Adam wouldn't be looking for short. You just got moderated by Google? Did you really? Feel like it's better to wait and see what happens with the auction. Well, I don't know if a 3-year note auction at 11 is that big of a deal, especially since it's so late in the day, Ganesh. So, like, I think that for most of us, that you should have caught some of that long. Oh, really? I didn't think that it would censor that, but okay. Because I got stopped out at break even with that wimpy move. Oh. No, definitely we would have wanted to have caught some of that long. And if we missed it, then I don't know. Like, I can see potential for it to continue up here and give us another few points. But this thing in Tesla looks a little insane to me. Well, easily over yesterday's highs, too. What about the days before that? 630? 630. And Treasury's still kind of chilling at 09, huh? I'm sorry I offended their Victorian sensibilities. I apologize if someone had to use smelling salts and clutch their pearls. When you get a second, I missed the story about the screen board behind you. Well, I don't know if there's really much of a story. It's something that I've been talking about a long time on the stream, and I don't want to be that kind of person that says that they're going to do things and then doesn't do them, because I am that kind of a person. And that, you know, I was just waiting for time when I had it. It wasn't as big of a project as I thought it would be. It was not as big of a project as I thought it would be. Pretty simple stuff, actually. Just had to get the connections right. Now that I understand it, I actually kind of want to do it again, because I don't have. They're not they're not as close together as I would like. The LEDs, I guess, in the screen it doesn't matter. But then the other thing is that the Arduino that I bought doesn't have Wi-Fi connectivity. So I'm thinking maybe I need to go back and get a Wi-Fi enabled Arduino Nano. Yeah, so what we would like to do is put it on the wall behind me in the corner there, and we can make it say whatever we want. So we could make it so that when some people give a donation, it will read that out on the donation. We can also display stock tickers on there. So, but the Seth is very nice, and I like him thing. It was just the base program that was part of the tutorial that I used to do all of this. That's what they put on there, and so I just changed it a little bit, like the minimum amount, to confirm that I can change stuff, and then go from there. Oh, okay. What about alerts about upcoming news events? Sure. We can have it read out whatever we want, right? We can program it. I think that what I can do if I switch it to a Wi-Fi one, is have it read out whatever I want. Well, I couldn't make it so that there's an interface that lets me type in what I want it to say. Oh, there's Win. Where have you been? It's funny that you guys come in and the first thing you notice is the likes. We got 26 likes today, though. That's really great. And you know what? It's pretty late in the day. We're at like 8:30. And we still got 50 viewers, too. So today has been a good stream. And you know what? Our trading hasn't been too bad either. I struggled a little bit there in the E-mini, but eventually I got a runner. So I made 50 there. And we've baked in some good profit in the treasury. So, like, you know, we could, if we wanted to, hold it all the way back to there. I think this board looks very cool, the scrolling one behind you. Thank you. Yeah, you know, yesterday I was all like, ah, man, I didn't get the right, you know, I should have gotten a more dense LED. But when I look at it on stream, it looks perfect. And let's see here, where's the part? Oh, it's not showing it because it's too far away. Reset it. It shows numbers in between each scroll of that. It should show some numbers. Yeah, see, they look really good on stream. Do you trade off of the DOM or chart smart? Well, you notice that I don't have my eyes on the charts too often these days. I'm very much watching over here. Or over here. You know, like to me, this distribution that we've gotten between 81 and 86 matters to me. And I want to see, you know, if I was going to take a short, I would want it to skip down. Anyways, my other option is to just keep it connected by USB and just run a USB all the way to my computer, but I don't think that would be a very good way to do it. So then it's like, okay, so I can buy another Arduino for $20. But then what do I do with the old one? And I have to like resolder everything, which is a pain in the butt. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, it's a pain in the butt, guys. I learned about a Moroccan rhythm. I've never. That sounds interesting. Oh, you got you have the runner in ES. I mean, I caught it. It was a good move. I'm realizing now. Like when I got there, I was like, oh, okay, I got $50. Like it's fine. Like I wasn't actively thinking about how far the E-mini had gone. It was just like the volume all seemed to be in line. There was a bit that there had to have been some squeeze on that though, right? When we come back into the ES here and we look at it, like they sold on that initial down, you know, initial open move. Actually, it's a little bit further back, isn't it? Yeah, there it is. They sold on that initial move. It wasn't until we started breaking higher that they started making new highs. Even now, cumulative delta is negative. Well, we started at negative 10,000 and we're now at negative 15,000. So people in the futures have been selling it against this whole move. Now it is kind of turning over here. So what I'm seeing right now is that the impact of this buying, whatever it is, seems to have disrupted the order book enough that they are running into the square root law now. So I'm thinking that now is probably too late to jump on the long. I wouldn't necessarily want to short it, but Oh, Senate Banking Committee discusses who wins on Wall Street. Cool. We need to look at that. The Treasury's having trouble here, man. They've been stuck. So it's been a while since I've seen a zipper quite like this. I think that it's probably been in long enough that you have a probable buy, but I don't have my chart set up to see that anymore. The Moroccan beat that you're talking about just sounds like a regular old break beat to me. Oof. You see them fall through like that was crazy. Pretty big iceberg there, bit below it. How does cumulative delta work? If it's a market buy, then it adds, and if it's a market sell, it subtracts. And it determines if it's a market buy or a market sell based on what the best bid and ask are and the price of the order falling through. What does 5,000 on 1 minute mean? Well, 5,000 in the ES in 1 minute would be a pretty big change in cumulative delta, yeah. That would mean that a lot of market selling came into that location. That would be enough for me to wonder if some sort of news hit. Fauci to appear on Colbert, oh boy. Yippee, I'm so excited, guys. It's different on every time frame? You're talking about the individual bar? I mean, if you go from the open until now, the net change in cumulative delta should be the same regardless of what time frame you put it on. But like the individual bar delta will be different, of course, because they're different time frames. Of course, they're different time frames. Anyways. Is it really cumulative delta or is it just delta? Well, yeah, dollar weakness is definitely coming in today. Delta says 70 right now, negative 100 going up. Yeah, sure. Sounds about right. Today, you'll probably see a lot of bars with a negative delta that still moved up. That they've been selling against this move. The futures have, for whatever reason. The other cumulative delta, I guess, is combine. While, like, where the volume is displayed, are you looking at like a footprint chart? So you got to remember, cumulative delta is net market buys minus net market sells, and you add, for that bar. So it's cumulative delta is equal to the previous bar's cumulative delta plus market buys for this bar minus market sells for this bar, right? So that's cumulative delta. Delta is market buys for this bar minus market sells for this bar, right? And you could also just display the market buys and the market sells for that bar, right? So there's like 4 different ways that they could potentially show it to you. But cumulative is the one that I look at the most, and you can see right here as it changes from bar to bar. By the way, I haven't looked at our robots much today. What have they done? Well, the J and J2 haven't taken nearly as many trades today. Gabby got 2 winners, so good for her. Brandon lost a little bit. Squire made a little bit. Oh, wait. Squire actually took one for once? I guess Squire is just more rare than I expected. My robots are sim testing. I'm starting to think that I should put Gabby on, though. She does pretty good. Well, that E-mini, or sorry, the way that the treasury just come back here is a little, I guess, I'm just thinking here, like, what are you doing, Seth? Hmm. Ouch. E-mini is pushing higher. So how far down can the treasuries push before the E-mini starts to be like, oh crap? So is the 5-year pushing down here because the 3-year auction's not looking good? Out. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate, but I took a small loss in the treasury, and I really could have made a little profit. I should have been following a little bit more because it fell so quickly that I really should have gotten out earlier. That's why I was realizing, like, oh, you know what? Like, what am I doing? I should be trying to get out. I'm not, clearly, the flow was not as such I could get out, but it's okay. I had a lot of success with the beginning of that trade and managed the first part of the trade, so I'm okay with it. And I did make the money on the E-mini, which is important. And the robots did okay too. So is Gabby on her own? She's not. How do I can I really want to see how she's been doing over a longer time frame. Well, I think that I should make another one that I'm going to mark as pro. There we go. And then we'll edit Gabby to be on the pro account. Turn them all back on again, because we still got an hour here. Oh. Oh, why didn't it not connect? Okay. Oh, it's still loading stuff. That's why. Okay. Relax. And Treasury is recovering. See, one of the issues with the Treasury I've noticed is that, like, you'll usually get a bounce, but it usually squeezes long before, like, you usually can't hold it through it, you know? Yeah, we've been following the arc thing. When I'm a little horrified that they're moving up like that. But I think it's mostly because of Tesla, right? So Senator Murkowski could move the Puerto Rico statehood bill forward. It could. You think it'll happen? It could. Puerto Rico. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed per se. Yeah, NASDAQ is exploding higher with a little nudge from China's plunge protection team. Growth / Momo traders are panic buying big tech this morning, lifting NASDAQ up a stunning 3.5% from last night's close, dramatically outperforming the Dow. But now faces some resistance at recent peaks. As we said last night, it appears the central banks have drawn a line in the sand, no more than 10% drawdowns, and life is good. Let's see what happens at the European close today. Yeah. So I kind of wonder the US probably doesn't feel the same way. Yeah, 58 billion of 3-year notes, 11 o'clock. See, I'm concerned that what is going to happen is that 3-year auction is going to come out and it's just going to be dismal. And then the indexes are going to puke hard after everybody just bought it up. That's kind of what I'm worried about. But I suppose they could also be buying just because the NASDAQ is so strong today. Brazilian Supreme Court just invalidated the criminal convictions of ex-president Lula da Silva, restoring his political rights in rendering him eligible to run against Bolsonaro in 2022. He was leading all polls when convicted in 2018. That's interesting. Infrastructure has never created jobs, says Live Monitor on Twitter. No, that's not true at all. But infrastructure jobs are temporary. Like, they're not going to be around. They'll be around for like 10 years, but they won't be around in like 30 years. Sure. Infrastructure bills are done to favor union coffers who donated to the Democrats, which the GOP opposes when in minority and try to pass when in the majority, where Democrats, was it the Democrats that were going to block an infrastructure deal? Maybe. The T-bill auction might make a good title for today's video unless you already have an idea. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because we're not going to show that in today's video, but well, I think that today we're going to say NASDAQ panic bid is what we're going to say. NASDAQ panic bids. Because that's where it really happened. But again, I gotta point this out, guys. Oh my. Where is it? What does that look like to you? What does that look like to you? Look it up. Square root law. Infrastructure was and always will be a great job creator and a great security gap in regards of corruption worldwide. Well, so here's what I see from infrastructure. Infrastructure creates a lot of construction jobs, and construction jobs are much more lucrative jobs for the lower end of the economic spectrum, right? Some of those construction jobs can pay pretty good. For people that don't you don't necessarily need to have tons of skills to start out. Of course, it depends on what kind of construction it is, right? Because some of those jobs are very skilled. But I digress. The guy holding the sign is different. So, no, hold on. So yeah, the infrastructure jobs, those can definitely benefit the economy. And every situation that I can look back on in history when there's been infrastructure, the economy has benefited in the short term. Okay, like the United States, it had all of its infrastructure jobs and it helped. Nazi Germany, part of how they were able to make their dramatic recovery was because they put so much money into infrastructure. Like, putting money into infrastructure is generally good, and it's good for the economy. And, I think that the economy could use it. The question is just kind of like, what do they do? Like, one of the things has been that in the past, unions have dominated construction and have done illegal things with it, right? Like, remember that the way that the mob was really making money was that they owned all of the construction projects in Manhattan. And that's what eventually got them like taken out with the RICO case and everything, was construction, right? And that was all going through unions and everything. So I don't think that those kinds of situations still exist, but like, this person on Twitter saying that, Congress basically is sending money to their shady friends over in unions. I mean, that is a real thing that has happened in the past. And Democrats are going to want to attach all sorts of things into it that I really don't think the Republicans are going to go for. But ultimately, I think that they're going to do it. I don't think... Well, not that I don't think. Right now, the government is showing zero signs of holding back on the government spending at all. And Powell, the way that Powell is saying, you see, like, here's the thing. What if Powell came out and said, you know what, the yields are rising because the government is issuing too much debt, and that's going to be a problem in the future. And I would recommend to policymakers that they start thinking about the deficit because this is unsustainable. Very different market we would be in, wouldn't it? Those who earn the box, I must have also have a highway to drive on. Not sure what you mean by that. The box. I kind of wonder if they'll get into any kind of futuristic infrastructure projects, you know? Like, have you ever heard these things about corporations wanting to start their own city, which a lot of people have like really big issues with it, but I'm kind of like, you know what, if you choose to live in a place like that, then you choose to live in a place like that. But they were talking about all these things, like having different roadways for like automated cars and stuff like that, which is like super interesting to me. Like having a different, like having a lane just for the drones or something like that, you know? Bring back mining towns, right? I mean, there are some real problems with that. There was some real problems with that sort of thing way back in the day. But the world is very different now with the internet and everything. So I'd be really interested. They're building them in like Japan, right? And I think that they might be able to have enough cool things in it that people will want to move to them. And then wouldn't that be a thing if this city, the amenities that the city provided was like, or the technology and stuff started to become a bigger part of where you live. And they brought down the overall cost of housing. Because housing could be so much cheaper. So soon, I got to tell you, this is one of those things like when people talk about automation and everything else, it's like this is one of the things that you really got to consider is that housing could get a lot cheaper in 20 years. I actually kind of wonder now. When I think about that, I'm like, the real estate market has been so hot. What's going to happen if some of these improvements to make housing cheaper actually really start coming out over the next 10 years, you know? And all those people, all of those millennials that bought houses get screwed over hardcore. Oh man, then what? Good because I don't own a house? Well, I'm not necessarily saying don't buy a house, because I mean, I want to buy more housing. I also want to maybe invest in business. You know, I would like to invest in like a privately owned business, but I don't really know what I would do. I wouldn't want to put it into the trading. I think that the trading is pretty self-sustaining, own isolated thing that doesn't need an infusion of capital. But an ice cream cone stand, I guess, or a snow cone stand. That's like my best idea. You will be able to buy a house on Amazon and have it delivered. You're right? Yeah. I mean, we could get into the point where like you know, it wouldn't be like a mobile home, but it would be like a prefabricated home, along with a wife, RJ will. The day that Amazon starts selling people, you know what? You gotta wonder, like honestly, if a house, if a nice house, let's say that an average family home costs the same as like a new car. Let's say that a good home was $20,000 to $30,000. Okay, like we reduce the cost of housing by a third. How that would change the economy? It's a little bit scary of a change, and it could be happen. It could be coming. Will the wages of everybody just go down when that sort of a thing happens? What happens in California when everything is already so expensive in California? It could be that the cost for land just goes up and the prices that don't actually come down that much because, I don't know, maybe it might not be as dramatic as we think. Because it would still take time for them to build them and for them to come through and everything. And some people might still want a traditional house. There'll probably be, especially in the beginning, things that maybe we should be looking into stocks to hedge ourselves with that are into automated house building. But not the only thing I've ever seen is like the concrete 3D printer, and no. That's not it. I don't think that's it. Close, but I don't want a house made out of concrete. Like those buildings, all those buildings on campus at the University of Utah that are built out of concrete. Nah, no thank you. No, thank you. Well, the E-mini has flattened out. By the way, still net selling on the cumulative delta the whole way. Tesla kind of sputtering out as well. They work great in a forest fire. But you know what they're not great at? Cell phone reception. So that's their first problem, right? That people will not want concrete homes because it ruins their cell phone reception. Here's what the first 3D printed home for sale looks like. Yeah, is that the one that's the concrete? Which probably is. Forget that I have to copy and paste these because it thinks that it's the same domain. That's studio.youtube.com is a different domain. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's it. No thank you. I don't want a home like that. They make all of the walls out of concrete and then they frame it up. And I'm not convinced that would make an effective home. But there's other things, like if they might be able to make robots that just automated build things, and like they're already getting to the point where like the walls and stuff like come prefabricated. So overall, I really do think housing could get cheaper. I wanted to get me on that. Oh, the whole housing thing. You'll be able to buy your house on Amazon and have it delivered. Yes, that was the question that got me going on that. You know what though? What's probably more imminent is when an aerial drone will deliver my packages. That gets crazy, right? I can just imagine this future where you can see, it won't be all the time. It'll be like there'll be a certain hour of the day where it's like, okay, we'll send all of the drones out. Everybody will go outside to see the drones come and fly and see if they deliver them a package. You also were mad when we moved out. No, and now you're saying to move back into the caves. I don't know. It has bad cell phone reception. 3D printed hemp fibers. No, thank you. Is the Treasury gonna dive? Well, okay, so the E-mini is trying to break out here. So we get another meta order. Picketed the electrical. Nonsense. Was not alive for any of those things. No way. You know what? I was using the internet when I was like 7. like no joke. We had the internet in our home when it was like AOL was a brand new thing. Was literally a brand new thing. I remember the day. This is so dumb. I remember the day that hyperlinks were invented. Like, I remember going to the Blizzard website and then being like, okay, we have hyperlinks now. And that was a big thing. Like, and it wasn't like I was that old school. It was just like we had the technology in my house from the youngest age, because that was the area that my dad was in. So we always had the newest stuff. We had an 8086 as soon as they came out. He tried to talk Al Gore out of inventing it. Good grief. Yeah. I bet you that my parents still have the AOL CD. I remember playing StarCraft on a 28K baud modem. Oh, man. Those were the days. And a 100 megahertz processor. A 100 megahertz processor wasn't enough to play StarCraft. No. No. We should play Minecraft today. That's what I want to do. And get the kids to play Minecraft with me. Ace, you can play Minecraft too, but you'd have to get on Discord. You can join my private family-only Discord without having to verify your phone number. You just have to send me your username with the little number after it, and then we could play Minecraft. But he said it was just for games and that you'd never be able to do real engineering on it. I just said whatever. That's funny. Well, I remember the story about Musk saying that they were like running a website and they only had one computer. So like, it would run their web server during the day and they'd code during the night or something like that. I was like, that's a little crazy. He's clearly always been into taking high risks. I don't know about this bump. Is Tesla and GameStop, or sorry, MSTR, is it really just the 5K change in Bitcoin? I feel like that shouldn't be that significant of a difference, but I mean, it's like 5%, right? That's also not impressive of a move. Like, if it goes, then there's going to be another move, and that's going to be the one that really gets like, oh, we're not even going to remember this. It's like Legos. Oh my gosh, on TikTok, there's this guy that does quote unquote illegal Lego builds. So he'll take like the one unit wide block bricks and build a wall that curves around in a circle. And he makes tons like that you're like, whoa, wait a second, what? All sorts of things that you're not supposed to be able to do with Legos. It's pretty cool. Well, we got about 20 minutes left. News-wise, the market is pretty quiet. I am getting a little concerned about a couple of things that I'm seeing. Like, because this looks to me like the kind of recovery that allows you to like ignore problems. And then in a couple of weeks when shit hits the fan again, it just ends up being that much worse, you know? No wind going looking for that link. What you got? Is that it? No, that's something different. I've seen that before. There's a wall with all of those different scenes in it. All the good news is already baked in. Maybe, yeah. Well, it's just not a heavy. It's kind of weird for it to be like so early in the month and have like no news days. You know, what do we got coming up here? We've definitely got stuff coming, right? It's also kind of weird for the auctions to be this early in the month, but okay. This week, apply settings. So tomorrow, that could be a double whammy. Tomorrow we get CPI, and Friday we get PPI and consumer expectations. And then Thursday, unemployment claims as always. And what about next week? Retail sales. Okay. And FOMC, yes, of course. I tell you what, if this 3-year auction goes poor, and then CPI goes poor, and then, the 10-year goes poor, like that could be I'm not saying that that's likely to happen. It's probably unlikely to happen just because of how disastrous it would be to the markets. But you've got a bunch of inflation and treasury information coming in. Well, the treasuries did recover. We still should have been selling when it broke like 7.5, but they've recovered enough. I don't know if I'm as concerned about the 3-year. If we were down at 0.3 when that auction happened, then I'd be like, ugh. Conjecture. Many New York City millennials experiencing sticker shock on the houses in the surrounding suburbs will return and revitalize the city. Maybe. Maybe yes. From Ortex, GameStop short sellers are nursing $11 billion in losses this year. Good deal. They're up a good 20% today. They're at 231 now. Like I was saying, if they get back to 250, then it starts to become like, what's going on here? Because there's not that many shorts left in it, right? Is it all just retail buying? Or can GameStop actually be worth that much? Seems like they're probably ahead of themselves, though. I guess you could also be having like these options shenanigans, right? Which kind of is problematic because when it falls quickly. Was that it for the value trade? JP Morgan warns further dollar strength will hammer commodities. The setup for late March by the market here. We are going from the best inflow picture in like forever to what seems to be some heavy equity selling in the second half of March. For the following reasons: pension rebalancing, numbers still unclear, but rest assured that there will be large dollar equities for sales versus bonds. 60-40 rebalance quarterly will also be a massive number given the increase in AUM of 60-40 strategies. The rebalancing back to bonds, which now looks like a 61-39 or 62-38, could be big. Systematic deleveraging, systematic supply, aka deleveraging, is in process given the breakdown from key technical levels. It's also important to note that systematic strategies are not buying from here. Goldman Sachs has a negative 21 billion for sell over the next 1 month. More important, up big we have negative 8 billion for sell, but down big we have negative 180 billion for sell. Deleveraging. Momentum. 12-month momentum changes at the end of the quarter is bad for the S&P 500 index composition. This is selling large cap and largest weights versus buying the smallest index weights. There is heavy length and long momentum strategies. Issue with issuance. Issuance remains strong, perhaps too strong. Year-to-date, U.S. equity and equity-linked issuance, that is traditional IPOs, SPACs, and so on, is off to the hottest start on record. Previous year-to-date was in 2000. And 6 taxes. April 15th, the tax payments are due, and that's a negative 1.64 trillion worth of realized capital gains in 2020 to pay taxes on. All this is happening into a poor liquidity tape. Yes, S&P 500 futures liquidity at 6 months low, which will be further exacerbated by the Easter holiday vacation. April 2nd is Good Friday. Quarter end is on Wednesday. Remember that on February month end, ES sold off 60 handles in the last 10 minutes when it was posted negative 2.5 billion for sell. This one has the potential to get much bigger in the second half of March. Okay. That all seems fine and well. We did have that slight move up and then they flattened out again. A Lego dress. What? Britain and America should look into Denmark. It spends large sums, 1.9% of GDP in 2018, on retraining and advising the jobless. Well, I'm okay with that, actually. When looking at stimulus, the multiples that seem to have the best impacts are the ones that directly help the unemployed. All this other stuff that that we're throwing money into, it's like the voters like it, but I'm skeptical about how much it actually helps GDP. Oh, yeah. Are you one of those people that shake their feet in the chair and therefore shake their entire body? Yes, I do. And I'm not on some of my ADHD medications, so I'm having a little hard time. That's also why I keep getting so sleepy. Yes, we should change the sign to say something different tomorrow. I should do some cool things like colors and stuff. I don't know. We'll see what I can get it to do. Arizona border chief warns illegal immigration is on track to surpass the past 3 years combined. Wow. Okay, but I want to know when we're passing like that Obama year. The weather outside is nice. Get some vitamin. Well, that helps only so much. Ouch. I just bumped my elbow. That hurt. I also need to figure out how to mount the rest of this. So you see, like, well, you can't see it. There's a power supply that's like that big. It's probably a much larger power supply than I needed, because I can run it off of USB. It works just fine off of the USB, at least. Anyways, but I need to mount that, and I think I want to mount it behind so that you guys don't see that stuff. But it's just like particle board, right? So I'm like, okay, so I'm going to mount that to another piece of particle board that I stick behind it all. And then I need to, like, I don't know, I guess get pieces of wood to go, like little square pieces of wood to go around it. Yeah, I guess I need to go back and look. So I wasn't looking for that. I looked at square pieces of metal, but I should just look for like little, 2x2 pieces of wood or something like that. Yes, that's what it says. It says Seth is very nice and I like him. Yes. That's what I'm saying. What should we make it say? Because like right now I can't make it dynamically update. Always getting called by spam. Right now I can't make it dynamically update. But I would need to go buy a different Arduino to make it dynamically update. No, that's what I programmed it to do. So what happens is I can program it to say something and then compile and upload it. Is what I can do right now. So you want to change it? Well, we got 10 minutes. Let's open it up. So we can get it, and we gotta come all the way down here to the bottom. So we can change the colors, right? So I wonder if we come in, what color was it? FFB3FF. Oh no, I think it's just B3FF00. B3FF00. Like that. Let's see what that does. Upload. Compiling sketch. Uploading. Uploading done. And it's just showing me the numbers. Okay. There we go. Ooh, that green is very bright. Yes. Want to study computer science? I think, yeah, if you know, at least in the near term future, you're going to have a job if you got a computer science degree. So. Okay, so now this right here, there's a delay of 1,000, which I don't like. So it does that, and then it displays the numbers. It's only for like a split second. Okay, so what does this send string do? Scroll string. Send string. Start column. And what determines how long it's shown for, though? What are we trading? Well, we traded E-mini, but like the move's over. So we're kind of chilling for the last 5 minutes here. So as you don't use Sierra charts? Well, I've used Sierra charts and I've written things with it. It's just so much easier to work with NinjaTrader. The Sierra charts API just isn't thought out very well and isn't as well developed. I mean, it's C++ too, which makes it a little harder, but that's not the real problem. The real problem is that there's a lot of like necessary methods and stuff that you have to do everything yourself. It's kind of annoying. So what does show do? Show. This is the font. And these are all of these like yeah, okay. Changes to be at least as long. Okay. So what happens if I change this to be, well, what should we change it to be? Double. Let's see if it changes how fast it scrolls. Okay. Uploaded. I think. That didn't change anything, did it? Oh, maybe it did. It's going slower now, isn't it? Maybe we need to change it even more. 384. 384. I want it to be so slow that it's painfully obvious that it was slower. Okay. Oh, that is definitely slower. And you can read it just fine. Oh, because my wife was complaining about how fast it was. I'm like, okay. So we could make it even slower. Let's see it here again. Well, that's slow enough that it actually kind of, when you're watching it live, it doesn't look quite right. So I'm going to switch it back to 384. Oops. Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for stopping by, Smoker. I remember seeing Johnson say he would run again. I was walking through the living room while playing I wanted to talk politics. Do you mean when Johnson said he wouldn't run again? When LBJ said that he wasn't going to seek re-election? Oh, is it done now? Yeah. So 384 is okay. Yeah, okay, so we'll keep it like that. But now this little bit afterwards. Send string and then it delays. So what if we add another 0 to this? Will those numbers stay up for a lot longer? Talking about one of your favorite presidents personality-wise? Really? So is a president running around and showing his dick to everybody? That's a personality and president that you like, huh? Oh, it's working. Yes. Okay. So that keeps it when you send a string. I see. So when you send a string, it will hold that string until you overwrite it with something different. I don't like the way that 5 looks though. I'm thinking maybe I want to fix that 5. You see how it's like 3 lines at the top, and like you could get rid of one of the lines, it would probably be okay. Where is it? Where's the font? Oh, then do they have special characters and stuff? Yes, they do. Oh, very good. 5. That's not what I expected it to look like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 8th one is always left blank. There should be 3 lines that are like the same. Almost. Maybe it's these 3. No, that doesn't make sense. Oh, wait, I'm looking at that's 4. Why does the 5 look like that? What happens if I just change that to a 1? It says it's still uploading. So might be hung. Try it again. Upload. Uploading. Done uploading. There's the scrolling. And the numbers. That didn't change anything. Well, it just dimmed there for a second. That's kind of weird. Well, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6, 1,000, 7, 1,000, 8, 1,000, 9, 1,000, 10, 1,000. And then it's just hung. Curious. Oh, there it is. That's a period. Is that looking at it the wrong direction? There's a 1. Seems like maybe I just have an error in my, it doesn't, that's not the way that 5 is supposed to look. Well, anyways. Something about that delay that's that long. I don't think it likes. See, it crashes it. Done uploading. One 1,000, 1,000, and then it's done. Huh. Yeah, whatever. Yep, we will end daylight savings time soon. Okay, guys, well, I've overtime anyways, so I will see you guys tomorrow. Good day overall, even though I'm really mad about the treasury trade not working out. We'll see. Stay tuned for, I won't be streaming, of course, but see what happens during the treasury auction, right? Here in 2 hours. So, see you guys tomorrow. Stay profitable.